Listen, it's a pleasure. It's always an honor to be here, and
Yeah,
thank you
man.
for having me back, man.
Bruh, you gotta like we gotta do. I wish I had every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I will actually have every day. Right here next door, there's a new camera that's like this.
Word.
This.
Okay.
I don't really like this security sky shot. You know what I'm saying? So, but the new camera will be in here. It'll be a little bit more personal, and we'll be able to do this much more.
We need to have these conversations.
Way more conversations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, bro, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. And I've been wanting to talk about I mean, we've kind of touched on this plenty of times.
Right.
You know what I mean? As far as masculinity and the roles of women and men and especially within the black home.
Yeah.
And we talk about it, we leave it alone for a little bit, and then we come, and then all of a sudden something goes down, and we're like, damn, we gotta talk about this again. So it's like it never ends, right?
Yes.
And then Fantasia dropped her comment.
Oh yes.
About the women should submit, and I'm like, you better go ahead, Fantasia. You know what I mean? I was soup, but man, she got some backlash, bruh.
She did.
She got slammed.
Listen, I mean, what she suggests out there is really not, wrong at all in my degree, because just think about it. A lot of people, when they hear that word submit, a lot of one-dimensional level thinkers would just think that submissive is bowing down or follow, letting that person be king and take control. And, keep in mind that nature intended for a man to be the leader, to be the provider, to lead you to greener pastures. You notice I use the word leader, not someone that's a dictator. And whenever a man is masculine and he's in that form and he's leading, then that woman will naturally submit. Everyone actually is in their natural settings. The kids, the wife, she could be more feminine. She can be more open, more kind, more nurturing. So really the two is on the same side of the coin. One is in charge of things, which is the woman, and the other is in control of things, which is the man. But when they come together, it makes for a whole lot healthy dynamic between the two.
But they don't believe that, man. I mean, I feel like when it comes to the gender roles, and that's the really strange thing, is that even now when you look at sociology and you study like the language of what even college, especially young people that are going to college that are liberal, that are socialists and all that, reading this language, and it seems like the breakdown happens here, that the sex of when it comes to gender, based off of textbooks, based off of the science, apparently gender is not associated with it's a behavior. And it's usually a behavior that's cultivated by social norms and cultural expectations and things of that nature. So now here's where the person who says, well, I'm not going to let society dictate my role. Right? So who says I have to be this? Who says I have to be that? Who says I have to move like this? And so while we look at it like, no, this is a spiritual natural order.
Natural.
You know what I mean?
I like how you use the word natural. It's not
it's not
beyond traditional.
Right. You know what I mean? It's a natural order. Others, the pushback on that is, no, it's not. It's because I grew up in this type of culture, and these type of people are influencing what a girl should be and what a boy should be, and that's what it is, and we're going against that, and we're going to constantly defy this way that we feel the culture of America, patriarchy, produced it. You know what I mean? So that's the pushback.
And here's the thing, and I want to piggyback what you just stated. Also, you have to take a look at the media. You see a lot of images on TV where you see a woman being very dominant, but in those particular relationship structures, the relationship is really, really off balance. There's tons of chaos, arguing. The woman is very emotional, and when she lashes out at the brother don't have the rock or the stamina to stand up to himself, so he becomes a second-class citizen, putting up with the disrespectful nature just because she looks good. And so you see that all the time, and people subconsciously think that's the way a relationship should be.
Yeah.
And I always tell people it's beyond traditional. As you stated, it's natural.
It's natural
to be a man, to be a provider, to be a leader, to be the one to lead that woman to greener pastures. She has to have enough trust in that brother to do so.
How do we prove that? How do we? Because I feel like the problem that we run into, that like for us that holds this view, and women too, is that we don't have anything to prove this. We just have hundreds, thousands of years since the existence of humans.
Right,
this is what it's been, and for some reason, that's not proof.
The evidence is right there in the community. If you look at how the environment is, I would say, like me personally, I was raised by a single mother, and I know a lot of brothers was.
Yeah.
But when you look at the community itself, and I did my research on this, 74% of people that are raised is in a single parent household. There is no structure. There is no discipline.
Right.
Whenever you're raised in a single parent household, there's 9 more times that you'll end up in prison. There's 6 more times that you may have, drop out of high school. There's 10 times more that you may end up in poverty.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And sometimes you have to question yourself. Being raised by a single mother, you have to logically put it like, why was my mother single? Like when I deal with these one-on-one sessions and people that come to the anonymous section on DBDS or Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters, they single mothers, but yet just by reacting with them, their energy is very open, and I could tell why they're single.
Right.
Because they're very dominant, they're very masculine. And you come across a masculine man, he's not going to want to deal with a masculine woman. The energy doesn't attract each other.
Yeah,
It repels off each other, as within this book called The Superior Man.
Yeah. Unless he's a beta. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson, man. But if he's a beta male, he might like masculine women, though. For real, though, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If he's a better beta male, then that puts him in the category of my philosophy called a mother and child relationship. And that's almost like a broken birth syndrome, because some women just think that they could take a brother that's broken, so broken to the point that she has to mother and nurture him back into a whole man. Instead, that woman should be out there looking for a man that's already whole, a man that's already masculine, as you stated with what we talked about earlier. So, that's where we at. Most women that I come across to give too many men credibility that don't have credit. The kind of men that are, just use women for their own recreational purpose.
Yeah.
But it all kind of starts with that woman as well, because she has to change her mindset to start realizing that just because a man is arrogant doesn't make him masculine. And just because he's, the way he belittles people doesn't make him masculine.
Right.
No, a true masculine man is one that's confident, one that thinks with his own mind. He just won't agree with everything you say.
Yeah.
If a woman, she's fly and she say, hey, the sky's purple, a beta male will be like, yeah, the sky's purple.
Yeah, I mean, if you think it's purple,
it's purple. To try to get brownie points.
If you say it's purple, I think it's purple.
But a masculine male will be like, listen, the sky's not purple. You know what you
talking about?
Yeah, he'll challenge her, but in a flirty way.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it goes hand in hand. The more masculine a brother is, the more feminine she is.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think if you say it's purple, okay, we can say that. Purple. I'm gonna tell you, like, even down to so Eddie Murphy's coming back, right?
Yes.
So he's doing stand up again.
Okay.
And I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, this is what's up. And then all of a sudden he's like, I look back on Raw and Delirious, and I'm just so ashamed and I cringe. Those jokes were so ignorant. I said, this shit gonna be whack.
Yes.
I'm like, bruh, come on, Eddie. You are Eddie. So I say all that because I'm like, yo, man, we getting more betas. Even dudes that weren't betas are becoming beta, because it's like, I guess this is the way I have to be now.
Right,
you know what I mean? And it's like, yo, man, we really, it's a problem, because more and more you're going to get more and more men who are alphas that are going to want to resist that.
Right.
And almost go out their way to resist it.
Right.
And now it become because even for me, I feel like I go out my way to qualify healthy masculinity,
right?
And it becomes more of a division with my black women. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be in division. Right. You know what I mean? I don't want to be at odds.
Right.
I want you to see what I'm saying. That it's not necessarily toxic. That I'll make jokes. People will make jokes. Things will be funny. That like we don't have to be on this fucking sensitive tip. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that most of my followers are women. So believe me, there are a lot of women that agree with what you're stating, and they agree with my philosophy. Trust me, there are a lot of women that are not one-dimensional thinkers that want a leader. I hear women that come to me all the time like, listen, why do I have to put up with a brother that, I call them cupcake brothers. Why do I have to put up a brother that's soft and doesn't stand up for himself?
Twinkies.
Because that brings the attraction level lower.
These little Twinkies.
He does. Think about it. If you can't stand up to your woman, then she's not going to have the she's not going to think that you'll be able to protect you.
Trust you. Yeah, right. She's like, yo, you can't do it. I got to handle this.
Right. And another thing too, you're right. Society is dictating a lot of brothers to change their whole mindset. For example, now brothers think that, and I'll use this as an example, going out to the nightclub, you have to change every interaction into a transaction. So you got to buy her a drink. You got to buy 10 women a drink. You got to do this. No, brother. All you got to do is just conversate. See the attraction level, see where she's going, qualify her first, and then just let it flow.
You don't think you have to buy her a drink?
No, not at all, man. Every nightclub I've
been to start, just to get it popping.
No, brother, no. See, when I was dating, I never had to change interaction into a transaction ever. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because keep in mind, attraction is not a choice. So you have to be able to pay attention to a person's nonverbal language. There's two languages. There's verbal, and then there's nonverbal.
Yeah.
And if you see a woman that's smiling at you, she's twisting her hair, or she's giving you that eye contact, and she's giving you those signals that she's flirting with you, then that way you can...
Enough.
Right, that's enough for you to go over there, present yourself, and just talk to her. Engage. But you don't have to necessarily buy her a drink in order, especially if you don't see any nonverbal language. If a woman got her head down, she's not smiling at you. If she's giving you one-word answers, then by you buying her the drink is almost like bribing her in order for her to give you the time of day.
Yeah.
And what's more valuable than money is time. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you my essence. I'm giving you my presence.
It's funny you said, because like for me, I always said, and Rem will tell you, like I was not ever he was always the one to be like, yo, what's up, love? You know what I'm saying? What's up, beautiful? Let me talk to you. You know what I mean? Wasn't ever me. I was more of like, I had to find neutral ways to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to find atmospheres that just I can get in conversation, but it didn't. Like for example, like one of my ways of kind of like
breaking
flirting, was a grocery store is always the best.
Yes,
and I'll start putting stuff in her cart like I'm shopping with her. You know what I mean? I'm like talking about what I'm gonna cook for her, for dinner. You know what I mean? When we exchange numbers, so I'm like, so we could get this. Do you like pasta? I don't know. Don't even know her.
See how.
And she's laughing. She's like, "This dude is crazy." You know what I mean? And before you know it, though, I've already broken the ice. We're good, and I know off the rip.
I like how you set up that layup, because what you was doing is proper flirting. Like, pay attention if you ever go to a lounge or a club. Just pay attention to the brothers non-verbally, how they carry themselves in that atmosphere. To see a brother with a drink like this on the wall, holding his drink like this, that's an invitation not to invade my space. Compared to the brother that's out there not running around with his head cut off like a chicken, he's at the bar, drink low, and he's having a good time talking to you, blah, 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 and girls are actually coming to the bar, and the brother could just say something like, listen, can you tell me what other places I can go to that have single, beautiful women? And she could look at you and be like, well, you trying to say I'm not single, I'm not beautiful? You are single, beautiful, so, blah, blah, blah.
So what's up? I didn't think you'd be single.
I didn't think that. And then the conversation flowed from there. Yeah. And then you don't want to, get to the point that you're talking to her for 30 or 40 minutes. Just be like, listen, how about, take down my number, put it right there. We can exchange contact. We can exchange conversation later on, but I got to run.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Unless you're at the club, then it's like, damn, I got to see her. You got to wait till the end.
Right.
I don't like to do it in the beginning. You know what I mean?
You're already losing the battle if your mind is thinking like, I'm gonna go to the club and bag women. No, you gotta understand my friend. Like, I'm gonna go out and have a good time with my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Women can see that energy.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, you know it's funny because, yo, brothers be. I'm not even gonna call these brothers out, but there's brothers. There's brothers that'll be like, yo, we about to go wild. We like that's the mission. No. We going in. You know, like we're going to a new state. We going in this time.
Already losing that.
And I'm like, you know, and I'm wingman, so I'm like, you know, right. But yeah, man, it never works out like that. Nobody ever just I like. Mm-hmm. It's not all the time that you're gonna just go to the club, meet a chick, and go home with her. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is the ongoing cycle for every man that wants to go to the club. We gonna get chicks, right? You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, man. Well, if you're not trying to find a wife, that's one thing. You know what I mean? But if you're in Gen Pop, you don't have the VIP booth. You're not balling like that.
But that's so predictable, though. Yeah. When you're out there, you're acting as the 100,000 other men out there when they have that drink and they bopping their head on the wall. Women get approached by dudes in the club in that magnitude all the time.
All the time.
But when you out there hanging with your boy Jay, blah, blah, and you're at the bar with your drink down and you're smiling, that makes you mysterious. Yeah. That makes you unpredictable. It was one time before I got married that when I was out there, I had my drink in my glass. I kid you not. And when I was out there, I was just toasting everyone. I was like, boom, boom. They thought I owned the club. Mm-hmm. I toast, hey, you're out there having a good time, toast to you. Boom, then I just went to the bar, had my drink down, talked to my boy. Woman came across, they approached me, and we just talked. You know what I'm saying?
So drink. So you're saying brothers should have their drink low?
No, well, yeah. I mean, not verbally. Drink low. No because doubt. That's like you're open. You know what I'm saying? Just not verbally. Right. You have your drink up like this, your head slouch. You know what I'm saying? Head down, and you're on your. It's like non-verbally is, you're putting yourself at a stance that don't come in my space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, I noticed, man, like going to a club or bar, like period. You know what I mean? Where you're just kind of like standing, looking around, right? Not really engaging with the brothers that you with. Mm-hmm. It looks corny as fuck.
It does.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Are you just here to look? You know what I'm saying? It really, like, and for me, that's some of the reasons why I don't like it, because I like to socialize. Yeah. If the music was low and we're kind of like, chopping it up, but when the music's high, I don't like, hey, so what do you do? Right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to have those conversations, and if brothers are looking around, looking at all these chicks, like now we just 4 or 5 dudes standing around with a drink looking at people. Right.
And you see the women dancing with each other because they're looking for that short-term attention, that validation, and you want that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas, again, that makes most men predictable because they're going to go over there and, that every brother does that.
True indeed. Yeah,
again, absolutely. You have to be mysterious, unpredictable.
Let me get those headphones real quick. And for everybody that is out in the YouTube world, we about to go live on the FM in about 4 minutes. And please go to support independent media and go to the YouTube channel. Well, you should be on the YouTube channel right now, so hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. All right. We're gonna give you all the information on Treamell Lawrence's book, Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters. That's who's joining us today. But yeah, man, support independent media. Go subscribe. All right, like the channel. Go share it. Sure. We need more people up in here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let me see. We're gonna keep that down for now. Yeah, man. Yeah,
but I love it though. I mean, the thing is, and just to back off that drink, like I used to help a brother. He was like, man, if I buy a drink, I'm gonna follow her in the club all night long.
Right.
She owes that to me. I'm like, no, brother.
That
comes off very needy and clingy.
Definitely.
And she may think you missed the cycle. So, no, brother. You know what I'm saying? Just because you turned that interaction to a transaction, which was the first mistake, and you didn't qualify her, that pushed you at a disadvantage to, get that woman. And that woman told him flat out at the end of the night that I got a boyfriend. You never engaged with me in conversation. And he brought her, I think, like 10 drinks. He spent over $100.
Come on,
without
you
qualifying.
should have stopped after the first one. You should have stopped after the first one.
It was a low prospect low prospect lead. So that's the thing. One thing about which will be coming out hopefully by the end of October, in the middle of October, DBDS University, where we teach people relationship principles, the sociology of relationships. We have a module on nonverbal communication, what signs to look out for. If somebody's engaged with you with one-word answers, then I give you eye contact. You can say
then
something.
You know what it is.
Right. Like, hey, where you from? Miami. Compared to someone that you stay and you ask, hey, where are you from? Hey, Miami, I love it down there. I'm a nurse down there. You know, the conversations are more lively. You can tell by the ones who are, willing to engage and that's really attracted to you compared to the ones not. Just based off the nonverbal communication.
Yeah, I don't think dudes read cues. And I'm talking about good and bad. Like for me, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of times when I won't know that women are like throwing themselves.
Right.
I just won't know it. You know what I mean? And I've gotten that from, my fellas. I've gotten that from women. Like, you don't know that she's trying to get with you. You're not reading with you. Yeah, like, you don't know. And I'm sitting here like, nah, man, it's just conversation. You know what I mean? Or nah, she just said hi.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a. But then on the flip side, a woman can say hi, and dudes are like, yo, she trying to smash, bro. I'm about to bag that.
Right.
And I'm like, I think she was just saying hi though, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't like to misread. So, but I really do. I really don't know.
And I'm glad you brought that up, and that's why me and my partner Mo Triplet created this university, so that way brothers can get an idea on what kind of signals to look out for.
Right.
We have a section called the do's and don'ts when it comes to dating. We also have this
Peace, Spencer. What's good, bro?
section called relationship rules.
Okay.
My section that I'm teaching on communication.
Yep.
Such as the communication styles, the 4 different styles such as passive aggressive, assertive, passive, aggressive. Those styles.
All right, hold up. We got 60 seconds. All right. Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you too. But I'll ask you when we go live.
Yes.
On FM. But I wanted to know what qualifies, somebody to teach for YouTube University. You know what I mean?
Right.
What qualifies somebody to be able to do that?
The experience, brother. You can teach. You can go up there and teach. And I think you'll make.
Listen, I'm ready to drop some jewels, bro.
This is a lady named Carla.
Yep.
And it's called her university is called Carla Cookies. And all she does is teach people how to bake cookies. She charges $100 per student, and she already has 20 students. Teaching people how to bake cookies. So if you can go in there, drop jewels, and people, you're very knowledgeable, you can be passionate and share that knowledge, and people will pay for that value. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That might need to happen, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of work. I tell you, I kid you not. PowerPoints. You have to create quizzes, tests.
Right. We're going live right now. I think. Hold up. Put your headphones on, bro. Yo, people be asking, when is Spencer gonna say something?
I try. I'm trying.
When you know, bro, people like, is he up there to say something? When he
I got sometimes I'm gonna try to find my.
I told him, I said, I'm trying to give him the answer. Okay. All right.
I'm trying to be more vocal.
.3 WYBC, the rhythm of the city and home of the Juan Castillo Morning Show. Good morning, New Haven. This is Moving Target, and I'm your host, Jay Kemp. And with me is Young King Spence. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Good morning, New Haven.
Remedy will be here soon for the Super Saturday. And we have a special guest in the building. We got Treamell Lawrence.
Hey, thank you for having me back on here. It's an honor. Thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely. And if y'all don't know, Treamell Lawrence is the author of Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters, because we are going to talk about relationships and gender roles and the role of masculinity. Already people are like, I'm calling in. Yes. Where is the number? 203-562-9430. You can definitely call in. We're going to be really going into this topic, man. I feel like every time you come here, we get closer and closer to start talking about, we talk about relationships, we talk about issues that goes on, but we kind of dance around the topic of, there is a natural role of women submitting and men leading, that in this day is not, a lot of people don't agree with it. So you got Fantasia who came out and and people started ragging her. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because, I think people are really upset. Yeah, see, they're upset. They're upset. They don't like it. That's all right, though. We're going to still talk about it because we have to. Because we got to rebuild. We got to keep building the black family, right? So before we do that, I want to then, last week we highlighted a white privilege situation. Felicity Huffman got a few months. Right. You know what I mean? For doing something terrible. While the other woman...
5 years
I'm forgetting her name right now.
Right.
But more white privilege right here in New Haven. What is the white privilege? Well, judge dropped sexual assault charges against New Haven's rabbi and then leaving others pending. So Rabbi Daniel Greer was brought to court and charged for sexual assault on several kids for years. For years this was going on right in the basement of, I think, a home that was right in that area,
the Westboro area. Right.
Yeah. And they're going to court. And at the last day of court, the attorney said that we move for acquittal, and the reason being is because when the accuser approached the police and brought up the and accused them, what happened was when he did that, it was before the law changed, which was that you have to do it within 5 years. The law was you have to be able to bring the person up on charges within 5 years.
So it wasn't in a timely manner.
No, it was after that. I mean, it was before that changed. And so they said, so then this has to go. So they acquitted and they dropped the case. So right now, Rabbi Daniel Greer, I don't think you call him a rabbi. Daniel Greer is chilling at home with a bracelet. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. That's all he got. An ankle bracelet. And this is the same rabbi that was assaulted years ago here in New Haven, and his son ended up getting the guardian angels over here.
Right. I remember
and his son was riding around with a gun, and meanwhile your dad is touching these little boys.
Right.
You know,
and those are some serious allegations.
And it is. It is. So, but again, that is white privilege right there.
Some people would try to challenge that as if white privilege does not exist.
And this is the reason why I bring these up, because I'm like, well, show me how this can happen, and it doesn't exist.
Right. And it also, just to piggyback on that, as far as the white privilege, you know, whenever you are in a situation, you're a colored person or, you know, you're a black person trying to go out there, you have to, you know, literally jump high water to prove yourself that this is not what occurred. Somebody could just state that you did something which you didn't, and you're in jail for like years.
Yeah.
Or something like this in this situation is just drop and quit it.
We also gotta remember this Daniel Greer dude is powerful. He got money. He owns mad property here in New Haven.
Of course.
You know, he got political friends, and yeah, man. You know, so you know what it is. Somebody's pulling strings. Right. He's not doing no time. You know what I mean? He's not. His daughter actually called in for her testimony, and you know, talked about the experience she had with him.
Right.
So yeah, he needs to be dealt with. And it's unfortunate because I don't think anything's gonna happen to him. It is. It is. All right. So we're gonna keep moving.
Okay.
And we're gonna quickly get into this conversation. We have a phone call already. We're gonna get to the phone lines in a moment. All right. 203-562-9430. But before we do, I want to first address the what Fantasia said.
Yes. We could talk about that, man.
To paraphrase, Fantasia said, look, women, stop trying to be the head. Right. You need to submit. That's the reason why you have no man. You know what I mean? She's like, you have to submit. You have to submit and let your man lead. There's nothing wrong with being the queen. You know, and still doing your thing. And she's like, this is why a lot of women don't have a man. Because of that reason. Right. She got a lot of backlash for that. Right. So let's go into this, man. Now, you are a love coach, relationship expert.
Yes.
You have a beautiful marriage with, you know, you and your wife.
Yes.
What do y'all say about when it comes to the man leading and the women, you know, having to just submit? What's your perspective?
Well, here's our thing. We just feel that the natural roles actually submit the black families. You know, we see it as that, you know, masculine and feminine energy, they're really two sides of the same coin. So masculine and feminine energy, whenever you have those two dynamics, the man is in control of things, leading, and the woman's in charge of things. She's, you know, nurturing and so forth. So whenever a woman inspires a man, she makes him a better man. He's the rocket. Whenever a man becomes a better man, he makes her a better woman. She's the fuel. And when you put those two components together, that makes a hell of a good combination. It's beautiful. It's a healthy dynamic because the relationship flourishes even more. You know what I'm saying?
So why do you feel it's frowned upon now? Why do you feel like right now it's like, you know, a woman that says, look, I love, you know, being the one that takes care of home, submitting to my man. Like, why is that frowned upon now? Why do you think?
I think it's a lot of confusion in the media. Like, I'm all for women empowering themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when they go home to their man, they have to know when to flip that switch to that feminine essence, that presence, to be nurturing, to be kind. You know, they actually, when you go against nature, nature will go against you. So I notice a lot of women that are very masculine, they more stressful. And you know, stress really kills you, you know, if it continues to be in that way. So you got to have both the equations in order for, you know, the relationship to prosper.
We got just real quick, we got Remedy Sharif in the building.
Peace,
you know what
and
I'm
blessings,
saying?
yo. What up, New Haven?
What's up, bro?
Super Saturday, man. Pardon me, man. And listen, on my way in, man, y'all sound great.
All right.
Yo, the Bulls kind of sound like a special person. I'm
well, like it's a special person
like
saying boo.
Right.
Don't listen. You about to get us taken off air.
No, I'm serious. It just sound like a special.
I'm just saying, watch your language, bro.
Yo, love is love. We're not, you know, hurting nobody. Love is love now.
No doubt. All right, no doubt. So yeah, so going against the nature,
going against the nature. Yeah. So here's my take on it. You know, it's a double-edged sword, because whenever a woman is masculine, then that puts her in the category of having a mother and child relationship. When that brother don't stand up for himself, when he does not lead,
if he's a beta,
he does not have a purpose that he's committed to in his life, he tends to be like a child. And most of these relationships, and this is just a portion of it, whenever a woman puts herself in that role and she treats that man as a child, and the child does not get his way, what happens? He rebels. Men in that psychological forefront, sometimes they use rebellion as cheating. Like, listen, if I can't do what I want to do, I'm going to go out there and cheat. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the women that they cheat on with are the women that are feminine, and they feel as if they are a man when they dealing with a woman that's in that natural state, compared to the woman that they're dealing with right now that treats them as a child, that treat them, you know what I'm saying? So I usually tell these women, if you're dealing with a cupcake brother or
cupcake brother,
those soft beta brothers.
Yeah, that's the beta.
Right. If you're dealing with a brother in that magnitude, then you have to question yourself. You shouldn't be everything. You shouldn't be the therapist. You shouldn't be his hairstylist. You shouldn't. Some things you got to allow that man to be feel discomfort, so that way he can aspire to grow maturely, have that wisdom, and he can go out there and do what he needs to do without any help. That will just strengthen his character.
Yeah.
But too many women are giving credit to men that do not have credibility out there.
Make sure you call us up. We are speaking with Treamell Lawrence about the roles of the gender roles. I guess we could say gender roles, right? I guess
we could say that, brother.
Because the thing is, we're talking about gender roles, women submitting. Call us up, 203-562-9430. Join in the conversation. One of the things that I think is also misunderstood is that submission is passiveness. And and for some reason, I think that's also looked at like, if I'm submissive, I'm not passive. I'm not the one. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be passive, being submissive. And I think that's where we really got to get that term down pat of what that means.
But not only being passive, Jay, but to add to that, it's also about, they feel like when you're submissive, you're giving up all your personal of who you are.
Right.
You have you have no ownership. Whatever he says goes, however it's supposed,
Yeah.
So it's that whole mindset that's really hard.
Let's go to a phone call here. 94.3.
Hello, I was just wanting to chime in about the being submissive to your man.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name is Deetrika.
Okay, thank you. All right, so what's up? What do you think?
I think that it should be the way it is. Right now I'm manless, but
we gonna work on that.
Oh, tell about
on that, Deidre.
Yeah.
You're right, but I was married and I was submissive to my husband, and he was abusive. And he ended up dying actually, but I ended up having 3 kids and raising them. And when I raised my kids, I felt the need to raise them by myself and not have other men in their lives that may or may not be there.
Right.
So as I grew and as I got older, now I'm totally independent. I don't, so now it's to the point where it's hard to be submissive because I've done everything I was supposed to do, raise my kids, and I still believe in that, but it's really hard for a woman who's done everything by herself and not.
That's so understandable. That makes so much sense. I want Treamell to respond to that. Go ahead, brother, because that makes so much sense. I know a lot of women that feel just like her.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm so sorry for your loss. My condolences go out to you. See, my thing is that there are a lot of single women that actually come across good men, but they don't give them the time of day because we just have this illusion in society that a man that is arrogant means that he's a man, or a man that's, tough and macho, that means he's a man. No, a man is one that's confident. A man is one that's respectful. A man is one that's supportive. So there are plenty of brothers out there I get on the opposite spectrum that want to talk to, women with kids, but, they get turned down because it's this illusion of how society programs how men are supposed to be. And I think sometimes I tell single women, sometimes you have to unlearn what you learn already about the dynamic on what a true man's supposed to be. And like I stated, the provider aspect and role, him being respectful, having being there for you, that's the true essence of a man. One that has integrity, like his words and his actions are congruent. So whatever he say, he does not talk sideways and say something.
So in essence, she and like other women who feel as though, look, I've been holding it down.
Right.
It's hard for me to be submissive when I've been the one holding it down, right? So in essence, she's going to meet when she meets the man that there's a man is going to comfortably allow a woman to feel like I could be submissive.
Right.
So do you think that that's what has to happen, that it's going to be the man that kind of triggers her to be able to be submissive like she wants to be?
Yeah, it's going to be the right man, but at the same time, she has to be willing to open herself up a little. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be receptive. Part of feminine energy is being receptive, being approachable.
But not that. But
I understand that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
can I add something real quick?
You want to add something to this? Because I want to go to the next
Yes,
caller.
sir. Real
Okay, go
quick,
ahead.
just to let you know, the first off, check who he's being submissive to. A good landing mark is if you believe in the Most High. If y'all believe in the Most High, check if he's being submissive to the Most High, because that helps everything
Very
fall
true.
in line. By him being submissive to the Most High, he'll also be able to be submissive to you. Sis, it's not you. It's not just women being submissive. See, it's not man and woman. When we're working in a family unit trying to be together, it's about togetherness.
That's
so
very
he
true.
has to be being submissive himself to the Most High first. You're supposed to submit to the Most High first too. Like if we not do it, that's if you believe. Only if you believe. So if we're not submitting to what we're supposed to submit to first, in essence, everything else kind of
Such
sort
a
of
good
falls
point.
apart.
Such a good point.
Right.
I want to go to the. Oh, go ahead, sis.
I said I understand all that, and that's exactly how I want to live my life. It's just when I meet men and they're on bicycles and they have part-time jobs, it's kind of hard.
Bicycles.
That's true.
And so it's hard to be submissive like that. You know, if you're pushing yourself to do better or whatever, I have no problem and would even help 100%.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
so
what's up.
hard to find that nowadays.
You
Well,
pull
you
up
know
on
what?
him in a bicycle.
Well, you know what? Let me just tell you before we go to the next caller. Our guest Treamell Lawrence has a website. It's Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters. It's a singles website, and
free.
It's free. We're good quality men. Will be up on there. So I want to make sure you connect with him after the show.
All right, so that's Good Brothers, Good Sisters?
Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters.
DBDSsingles.com.
DBDSsingles.com.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for your call.
DBDSsingles.com.
Yes.
Thank you.
She
All right.
She pulls up on him, Jay. And how's that 10-speed feeling?
Come on, brother.
Yes, indeed.
All right, take it easy,
Have a
sis.
great day.
Thank you.
Peace.
Oh, man,
I
let's
think
probably
we
start
good.
better
We
than
good.
that, man.
So yeah, you know, you brought up a really great point, Rem,
Yes,
when
sir.
it comes to men finding their purpose first. You know what I mean? Even if it's not God, you know, the
Right.
book that I told you about, The Way of Superior Man,
Right.
you know, when he talks about how men should move when it comes to the workplace and when it comes to intimacy, the first part of that book starts with the man and his purpose.
I talked about that in my book as well. Like, your purpose should always be first before your relationship.
Yeah.
Because that strengthens the relationship overall. You know, like my purpose, for example, is writing, to be the best author and teaching. I love to teach relationship concepts. But if you don't have a purpose, that woman is going to just think that you're a leaf in the wind, that you
Yeah.
just go in every direction. What if that leaf go to a wall, a
Right,
detour?
right,
You just
right,
stuck
right.
there and stagnated. You got to have a purpose. Brothers, you got to go out there and handle your business.
We're going to get to another phone call here. 94.3. Hello? Okay, must have killed it. Probably call back. Yeah, you got to have a purpose. And I think that's the problem with a lot of men is that a lot of times when we're younger, our purpose is, you know, status.
Right.
Smashing.
The status is for smashing. You know what
Right,
I mean?
right,
When
right.
you're in that mindset. No disrespect, Spencer. I'm not saying that's you. You know what I mean? But no, it's status. It's having that, you know, and it's later in life. And I think this is the reason why men finally, by the time we hit 30s, while we're finally like, okay, we're starting to put things together about what we need in our relationship and what's real,
Right.
because we start to go more into our purpose.
Right.
So if we start to teach young men to first find your purpose,
Right.
it's not about, oh, don't get caught up in females and all. No, find your purpose, not because It's just what you need to do. But what's going to end up happening is you end up, through finding your purpose, knowing how to serve the right woman and knowing who the right woman is.
Right.
Not only that, know what I found real quick, Jake? Know what I found? I found the few best relationships that I've been in happened when I wasn't looking for the relationship. So when
you were on your purpose.
because I was on my purpose and I didn't even like
Exactly.
think about that, put that together. But hearing what you saying, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I was on me, I was doing me, and then I ended up meeting who I met. Even
Let's go to another phone call here.
Serious.
94.3.
Yes.
Yes.
The other half of DVDS.
Oh,
Okay,
my
what's
partner
going
Mo.
on? Who's this?
Mo Triplet, the other half of DVDS.
The other half of DVDS. What's up, brother?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. Thank you for calling in. So yeah, what do you got to say about this conversation?
Yeah, I want to chime in on the submissive discussion.
Mhm.
You guys got a good discussion going there, but I'm going to put a little spin on it.
Okay.
And the thing I want to talk about is...
I'm not submitting, so don't even say. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead, brother.
Not at all.
No, go ahead, brother.
The issue I think a lot of people have is the context of the word.
Yes.
The word implies helplessness based on the definition, the dictionary definition. But in this context, when you talk about relationships, the word implies strength because, now check the philosophy, because if the women you're dealing with are in fact leaders themselves and they're strong women, they don't follow anybody. So when a strong man and a strong woman meet, who leads? You know, how do you figure that out? How do you work that out? So the word submission in this context is a request to the woman to fall back a little, let her man lead, and have confidence in him. So that's what I want to add to this conversation.
I appreciate that, brother. And you were going. I think you were going so great for a lot of women who are listening until you said fall back a little. Once you said fall back a little, I feel like 99% of women were like, hold up.
You see this stiletto? You see this stiletto? Well, I need to step back, folks.
Look, see, now they're going to say, why I got to be wearing stilettos?
Oh, man, yeah, it's a slippery
The main
slope.
purpose, so the main purpose of that is the fact that two leaders, they can't coexist. That's like, you know what that's like? That's like if you ever try to put two sides of a magnet together, they're gonna repel. So what you got to do, you got to have, the opposite poles of the magnet, and they attract each other. So you can't have two leaders leading. You ever try that you can't even do that in corporate.
Right,
Put
right.
two leaders in a room, somebody got to be the head. You got to have a CEO of a company.
Yeah.
You can't have two CEOs.
Thank you.
That's what the context is.
Yeah.
It's not an insult, though. The whole point is to bring the relationship together and build it and make it stronger.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Phone calls. So one thing that he said was that you can't have two leaders, right?
Right.
So what if we took out the word? And this is just me, I guess, playing devil's advocate, and just say, look, we gonna flow. Because when you talk about lead, now it's like there's a structure. There's like almost like a hierarchy to a lot of people. But when you say flow, sometimes I gotta lead, sometimes you gotta lead. We flowing. You know what I mean? We're going to go to a phone call again. 94.3.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm blessed.
And
Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing great. What's your name?
My name is Deborah.
Deborah, thank you for calling in. I'm sure you want to join in this conversation.
I do. and I want to, you don't have to take my word for it. I just want to give you scripture.
Yes, please.
Okay? Scripture is Ephesians 5:22 through 25. You want to read it, or you want me to read it?
No, you go on ahead.
You go ahead.
Your voice. Yes.
But just know we only go to
on the scripture.
Yeah, just know we're only going to 45. So just so you know.
Okay, just 1 minute.
Okay.
You know what I'm finding? Go ahead, bro.
So yeah, when it comes to and I'm glad
Hello?
Yes, still here.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes it takes.
I can't because I'm on my phone.
Okay, all right.
And I can't read it to you.
Well, can you
it talks
paraphrase?
about submissive, huh?
Can you paraphrase what it might say?
Yes, it talks about the woman being submissive Well, it talks about both parties being submissive one to another. Um, if you're in Christ, Christ is the head of the man is the head of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the relationship will grow.
Yes.
A lot of people don't like the word submissive because it seems like it's a control thing.
Right.
However, it can be a control thing. Like the woman said, her husband was abusive to her. If the wrong person is, in the relationship and they don't understand that word submissive or being the head, it can be, abusive. But I would like for you to read that in your spare time.
Absolutely.
Ephesians 5:22 through 25. And then maybe on another show, you can bring it back.
We can unpack that. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Yes, that's only if you want to follow, the Bible.
All right. Thank you
God
so much,
bless.
Deborah. Appreciate
God
you.
bless. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
It's funny because when we talk about scripture, we also got to talk about the virtuous woman.
Right.
I think it's Proverbs 31, right?
Right. But here's the thing that she mentioned that a lot of women tend to miss. The wrong man. If you're with a man that's, and I call them dictatorships, I don't call them relationships. If you're with the wrong man that does not get your input, does not value you, and he's barking orders like a dictator and telling you what to do, that's a man you should definitely not submit to. You shouldn't even be emotionally attached to a brother like that.
Right,
and we
right.
get this image in society that brothers should portray themselves in that way, especially these reality shows. But when we have a leader, that's a man that gets the input from his wife, and she trusts his decision-making ability for him to make the best move possible in order to benefit the whole family. So not only she's benefiting from it, but her kids.
Yeah.
And the more she's feminine, and like I said, he's the rocket and she's the fuel, the more fuel she puts in that rocket, the more it's going to push that brother beyond the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
And I think, again, like trying to not demonize the word submission.
Right.
If you go into Proverbs 31 and you look up what the Proverbs 31 woman is, she's all that. She has, like, she's taking care of home and it's celebrated. You know what I mean? I think a lot of women who are open to being the one that takes care of home and submitting to their man, I believe that whole position is demonized more. But I think something also is important on a social level, on a sociology level, from a sociology perspective. There was a lot of initiatives to create the position, or to really make men, number one, take them out the home, but number two, break them down enough to where they, as Ren was saying, aren't really submitting to their purpose or to God. You know what I mean? Some of them are just trying to survive. You know what I mean? And so this discord starts to happen where, like, men are trying to meet women that are in sometimes rough positions, haven't really found their purpose, raised off of, a lot of different thinking in America. So you have a lot of women that are like, that's not worthy for me to submit to. Right. You know what I'm saying? So why are you talking to me submit? Why are you telling me to submit and saying that that's the reason why I'm single, talking about Fantasia's comment.
Right.
And all these men that I'm meeting are dogs, you know what I mean? Like she said, they're riding bikes. Like,
but you still laying with them, though.
Right.
At the end of the day, let's call a spade, but you still lay. So we got to take responsibility for our situations, accountability for our situations, men and women. So you want to talk about these men in these spaces, but at the same time, you told him, all right, if you could keep up on your 10 speed, if you could keep up on your bicycle and make it to the house, then come on. You know what I'm saying? And, so
yes,
it's
I agree. And my philosophy and what I teach in DBDS
and not
University,
you specifically, Queen.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But yes, and that goes back to giving men credit that doesn't have credibility. I talk about 3 zones in my book. I talk about the friendship zone, where you should not be having sex and no emotional attachment to that brother until you know if he has a purpose in life. And then the second zone is called the intimacy zone, and that's where you both have your rules of engagement. You see where you want to, where the relationship is heading to, and the bond's starting to flourish a little bit more. You're starting to meet his family and their family. And then the third phase is the physical zone, and that's where you are having frequent sex, and you meet that people, their parents and so forth, and the relationship is exclusive. In today's society, too many women and men are skipping the friendship zone all the way to hopscotch to the physical zone, not knowing.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
it's
the other
been like
components.
that for a long time, yo. It's been like that, like since I remember. Since I remember remembering, it's been like that.
Yeah, I would say, you know, I think that's the reason why there's a lot of old school relationships right now. I don't see many coming from, you know,
that timeless relationship.
The mid 2000s, late 2000s that are lasting, you know, 40, 50 years, obviously, because we haven't hit there yet. But most of the relationships I see that are like 40 years in, I mean, they're coming from a time where that idea of putting that work in, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That idea of, no, I'm staying. Because if you've been married 40 years,
right,
somebody cheated somewhere. Something happened somewhere.
If it wasn't cheating, there was some verbal abuse somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There was some trials, some tribulations.
You hit some trials and tribulations.
I know that.
That built something, and most of the time, somewhere infidelity is involved.
I can acknowledge that, but I know circle of my people that hasn't been
40, 50 years?
40, 50 years, man. I mean,
you got a circle of people that
I have a few people, such as, you know, my grandma, you know, I know like a couple of people in those relationships that never step out. Now, of course, it was trial and tribulations. There's no relationship that's perfect. I believe
they might not have told you, but
they might not have. Grandma, like, baby, if I could really tell you what this man done did.
There's an 80-20 rule when it comes to that. That, you know, in my university, I call that the ride or die concept, where you feel that you have to put up with infidelity, abusive, verbal, and non. You know what I'm saying? So that's that ride or die concept. I'm referring to, like, yes, you go through your tribulations. You may get laid off from your job and that person's still sticking with you. You know, if you lost a loved one, that person's still sticking with you. We all go through that, you know what I'm saying? But I know a few people out there, you know, that been
as
30
far as
years.
You know. As far as you know, brothers.
So I can acknowledge that.
I'm almost positive, man. You go into their psyche, they're like, yeah, I didn't dip out, but I was struggling. There was somebody I worked with, and there was, you know, let's go to a phone call real quick. 94.3.
Oh, hi. My name is Versi Jones. I am a black woman. I live in New Haven. I have 3 kids.
Peace.
And I have the house. I have the good job that's making over $50,000 a year.
Salute.
I go to church. But the problem is I can't find a man who is worth me giving my life up for.
See?
Because the Bible says that, you know, you have to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yes.
So technically, my husband needs to be able to die for me. He needs to be able to protect me. I am a strong woman, but I can't find that man that I can give my trust in. I can't just bring everybody around my kids. I need to make sure that I can trust that man with everything that I have, because I'm sorry, but all women will give up everything for a man that she knows is there, is consistent, is dependable, and I have not found that guy to this day. There aren't many men in church. I tried that, and it was not the good thing at all. Everybody thinks if you find a man in church, that is the best thing ever.
You better watch
and that was one of the worst things ever, because, yeah, we worship together, but nothing else was there.
Yeah.
So my thing is, where do you find the men that is able to share the life? Because I would love to be able to not make all the decisions in my household. I would love to have that friend. I would love to have that support and that backup, but I cannot find that. I have not found that to date. I was married. He didn't like the responsibility, and he couldn't handle the responsibility. Every time I would purposely submit, he would break down. And I find that if I give everything to a guy, I can't trust that they're going to make the best decisions, and I don't end up losing most of the things I had. So what do you say for the women that are strong, that are dependable, and who can't find that man to be able to share their life with? Because I don't think nobody wants to be alone. Everybody wants a backup.
Yeah.
I would love a backup, but I can't find that. And I think you have to be able to submit to anybody.
No,
You can't
yeah,
submit
you're right.
to anybody.
You're right.
And us as black women, I love a black man. I think the black man is the strongest thing on earth, okay? But I can't find that, and I think that's a lot of problems, is we cannot find a man worth submitting to.
So let me ask you this, and everybody wants to respond to you right now. So let me just ask you this question. Do you feel, can you honestly say that when you meet different men, that you're approaching them with open mind and with you really open to figuring out if they're submissive, or do you feel like there might be a little bit of bias because of your past experience?
I think that I am looking for his dependability. How good is he for me? You know, what is he doing in his own life? Is his own life together? You know, so that's really what my concern is how are you doing, so I can possibly give you most of this stuff. I don't want to handle it alone. Right.
I know Treamell Lawrence also wants to respond. Everybody wants to respond, so we're going to start with Treamell Lawrence.
Okay. My thing is that, you know, you should not have to, you know, and that's that mother and child aspect. You should not have to submit to a brother that's not handling this business. If a brother can't lead himself, then he cannot lead a relationship. That's number one. So my suggestion would be to put yourself out there. You know, if you like to, for example, like to paint, you like to draw, put yourself out there in those types of environments where you may meet somebody that's very like-minded. Again, I do have a relationship website with quality men that's on that site looking for women, but at the same time you do have to be a little bit should I say feminine. You can't be very, you know, masculine whenever you come across a good brother. And you also have to just make sure you see the signs. So if you do see a brother that's not on your level, yes, keep it moving. But if he's a good brother, then sometimes you want to put your defense a little bit low just to see if he does have a purpose in life.
Well, that's the thing, too. It's your definition also of being feminine, because I may not wear dresses all the time, but I know how to make a man feel like a man. I know how to make a man feel like he's the head of a household if need be. So the thing is also is, what is your interpretation of feminine? Because I know how to submit. Right. And I know that if I get the right man, I can make him feel like king of the castle.
Right.
And but where are those men?
Right. And me and you agree on that point. Feminine is the energy of how you make that man feel. I'm not referring to, like, you know, how you dress and so forth. That is a part of the equation. But feminine is how you make that brother feel. And there are good men out there. I hear from the opposite spectrum that a lot of good brothers are trying to find good women, but they put the money and the popularity before the character of that brother. So it has to come to a forefront that whenever you come across a good man, and, you know, women do get approached by men all the time, and if he's a good brother, you just want to put the defense down just a little bit just to see what he's about. And you're absolutely right. If that brother don't have nothing going for himself, yeah, keep it moving. Stick with your moral codes. But if he has put in the diligent and the work, and he has a commitment and a purpose, and he know where he want to go in life, even though he's not making $100,000 a year,
then take time and be patient. And here's one thing, Queen, that I really want to share with you, right? We are in the age of wisdom is bliss. So I want to encourage you to do this, right? Because we put ourselves inside boxes, inside categories when we deal with religion. I want you to hear me real quick and just ponder this. We put ourselves inside boxes when we deal with religion instead of like looking into spirituality. So if you consistently, look for somebody because they're into the church, or look for somebody because they're into the mosque, they're into the synagogue, then we're putting ourselves in a box. There's a whole group of men that are spiritually rounded, that have true understanding of life, true passion of life, that you may be discrediting because you're looking for the men that are into the church. Exactly. You're looking for religion was the great divide, and I'm talking about religion. Spirituality is the connection for all of us. So that man may be, I'm just going to say this to you, Queen, you may run into a Muslim man, because Muslim only means submission to the will of God. That's all it means. So you may run into a Muslim man that may be your perfect mate, because a Muslim man that's true in his spirituality is going to respect whatever you feel and being Christ-like. He's going to respect that. He's going to honor that. He'll be able to go to church with you sometimes and support that. Not to submit to that, but submitting to the spirituality, to the whole way of life. So try to open your mind and open up to that a little bit and see where that guides you, because it's a whole group of men that's right, like, Queen, you got it together like that. Yes, we out together like that. Listen, we submit together.
And you holding it down, trust. We out there and we see you. You know what I'm saying?
I salute you.
Yeah, for real. We salute you over here. And I also want to make sure that we bring you to the dbdssingles.com, which is...
I'll be going there.
Yeah.
Thank you,
good
sister.
quality men. All right? Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
That was a good call right there.
that was a great call. Yeah, man, we're almost out of time, but I just want to let people know that we're going to keep this going on our Facebook page. You know, so make sure you just chime back in right after we leave here, and we're going to answer more questions and get in a little bit more conversation.
So just to piggyback on that call and what you said, and that's a great explanation, by the way. The thing is that we all got to have more codes, right? More codes is personal guidelines that are non-negotiable. Like my personal code before I met my wife was, I'm not going to put up with a woman that lies or party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not going to put up with a woman like that.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you have your preferences where they are negotiable. So a lot of women say, I just want a tall man. I want a man just in church. Like you stated, they put themselves in the box. And you have to start opening your mind, because there are a lot of brothers out there. Like my woman, before she met me, she was always used to those big, muscular guys.
Yep.
I came across this skinny brother. But my more codes, my character is what drive her to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we're going to pick this back up. I see that there's other people calling in. So let's just go to where they can contact you and DBDS University, DBDS Singles.
Yes.
And
yes.
We'll sign
So you
out.
can find me on Facebook, Treamell Lawrence, Treamell, Lawrence like Martin Lawrence. Request me. I do have a group of over 4,000 people with great, mature relationship conversations called DBDS. That stands for Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters. You can also, we're going to be coming out with a university called DBDS University. It's a relationship platform that's going to be teaching you about relationship principles and the sociology of the relationships. And if you're looking for a quality man and quality woman, make sure you join dbdssingles.com, which is totally free.
And also, this afternoon, Moving Target will be live, all right, for the Peace Rally March for Bereavement Care at Skeltonberry. Is it Skeltonberry? Is that how you say it? Skeltonberry Park? Is that how you...
Gulf Street Park?
Is that...
No.
You know what? We're going to put the flyer up on the page, but we're going to be live. We got Manny James. People are going to be getting introduced. Some awards are going to be given out. It's a Peace Rally March. It's going to be really great. We're also celebrating... our sister Sun Queen, who has a great book out, and she's going to be the guest keynote speaker. Mayor Hart will be there. It's going to be great. Just make sure you come through and support.
That is definitely Gulf Street Park.
Oh, it's Gulf Street Park.
Pardon me, bro.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
definitely Gulf Street Park.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
Gulf Street Park this Saturday, 1 o'clock. Today, all right, and Moving Target will be there live, and we got some great surprises for you. All right, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Treamell Lawrence, 94.3 WYBC. Make sure you tune in to the Electric Drum with Yusef Shaw.
Peace.
Peace.